All right, man. Told you talk. You know what it is, man. All right, man. So today's episode, Pusha T has responded or came out and said something about Drake and what happened. And I kind of figured that this was Drake's fault in a way. And yeah, so we're going to get into that. Before I get into that, I got to get a legendary spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones at. Just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is in the description. Cash App, no more PayPal. Cash App is right here. Thank you for the Cash App today and yesterday. Thank you for the Cash App. I don't really like to say people's name on here because I don't want to blow y'all spot up. But if you want me to say your name, I'll say your name. It's no big deal. But I don't really like to do that. Thank you for the Cash App anyway. From the bottom of my heart. Yeah, they call me a hidden gem. 1,300 subscribers, over between 15, 16, 17,000. Yes, I am the king of the north. Let me know what kingdom you from. And let's get right to it, man. Let's go. All right, this comes courtesy of Urban Politician. You already know what it is. So look, man, let's get to it.
Yo, 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 it's Big Ant the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV, UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in as the Clipse have officially announced their release date for their album, July 11th, Let God Sort Them Out. Now, they put out a single last Friday, Ace Trumpets, and decided to do an interview with GQ about everything going on because it was supposed to drop last summer, got delayed. We wasn't really all the way in the know of what was going on with the album being delayed and things like that, but they broke it down. How things happened at Def Jam, with it being under UFG, how the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle affected it. Also, he talked about the stuff with Jim Jones in the several interviews, speaking on him and ranking him in the game and the song he put out and a couple bars he had kind of gave Jim on the song that they had released at the runway and stuff like that. Also talked about Kanye, but what started circulating around the blogs today is...
Yeah, a lot of y'all don't know, but Pusha and Jim Jones, I'm not going to say it's a beef, but as MCs, it's always got to be the piss testing contest. You know what I mean? Who has the biggest slong in the game? You know what I'm saying? I guess that's how it goes for some rappers. But me personally, Jim Jones, no. I like Jimmy, but he can't touch Push. Like Push too much for Jimmy. Like, if people could say whatever they want, I don't care. But no. Push is way better than Jim Jones. Like, way better. Like, and Jim Jones got some good albums, and he's all right in my book, but he is nowhere near as good as you know what I'm saying? That's just there's some people that I feel like it's forced, and then there's some people that I feel like they just naturally good at it, and that's how I feel about Pusha. Like, he's just naturally good with his pen. Like, it's naturally good. But let's keep it going.
Him saying in this GQ interview that Def Jam had dropped them as a duo and him as a solo artist because he did not want to delete or get Kendrick Lamar to adjust the verse, and then gave his opinion on everything going on with the lawsuit. And I grabbed parts of the write-up, and they say this: if you expected the album last summer, the brothers sympathized. So did they. Pusha says they felt confident, proud, and assured of themselves when they presented the music to Def Jam. The label loved what they heard, except for Kendrick Lamar's guest verse on the thunderous chains and whips, the final version of the song that Pharrell teased at his first LV runway show, and the song Pusha says was the first to come out of their sessions. But after a summer beat between...
Yeah, that whole thing, it's a lot I want to say, man. And I think that me personally, I think a lot of us, we get caught up in certain things. To me, that certain ideologies we get caught up in. And I think that it's much bigger than what we think it is. And we try to minimize it by saying it's just a certain demographic of people or ideology that's putting a stop to certain things. But we don't want to look at things from a business standpoint. A lot of us just point the finger and say, well, this is exactly why this person or that person, or this is exactly why we're in the situation we're in with this person and that person. And again, I'm necessarily speaking in codes because I don't want YouTube to pick certain things up. So if you know what I'm talking about, just try to figure it out. I ain't going to put that out there because I realize a lot of times when you say certain things, they basically try to demonetize your channel or they try to strike your channel. It's crazy how they do that now. You know what I'm saying? If you speak on a demographic or a certain, how would I say, community, you know what I'm saying? They'll get you out of here. But either way, I think a lot of us are looking at things from that point of view, but not looking at things from a business standpoint. And I guess that's what it is. But as far as this goes here with the Clipse and them trying to censor, not even necessarily censor, but they wanted him to change his words. So that's basically censoring. That goes to show you that even at Kendrick level, you can get censored. Now imagine if Drake wins this lawsuit, and I'll speak on that at the end. But let's keep it going.
The two biggest artists that resulted in a still ongoing lawsuit from Drake, Def Jam's parent company UMG blanched at the antagonist optics of two of Drake's biggest enemies linking on wax. Pusha calls their apprehension stupid, primarily because none of the bars in Kendrick's verse, otherwise excellent verse, could really be perceived as a shot or even subliminal. It does, however, contain the stellar line, "Therapy taught me how to open up. It also showed me I don't give a F." Pusha can barely contain his disgust recounting how the stalemate with Def Jam played out. They wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse, which of course I was never doing, he explains. And then they wanted me to take the record off. And I said, so after a month of not doing it, Steve Garley, the lawyer over there, was like, well, just drop the clips because that can't work because I'm still here, solo. But if you let us all go. Sure enough, Def Jam eventually agreed to release the clips and drop Pusha as a solo artist, freeing the duo up to shop for a new home with a finished Clipse album and plenty more music in their pockets. Ultimately,
that should show y'all right there how much money these people playing with. If they can drop a good act like that, then they playing with a lot of money. I'm telling y'all right now. A lot of y'all think that you know what? I'm not gonna keep saying that. A lot of y'all. I'm just gonna say people, because a lot of y'all sounds like I'm personally attacking some people. But I'm just gonna say people think that a lot of these record labels or these record companies, y'all think that they're broke, or y'all think they don't have no type of position or whatever you want to call it. But y'all wrong. Y'all wrong. People wrong. These record labels been doing this before we was born. Some of these people are still in power. They know what they doing. They have marketing teams and all this stuff. So them dropping the Clipse, you have to understand, they dropped basically two acts. They dropped the Clipse and they dropped Pusha as a solo artist. Now, I'm not saying Pusha is selling 1 million copies, but he's a premier act in the game. And then their album coming back with Pharrell Williams, I mean, I think it's going to do some numbers. I think people better show up. Y'all always saying y'all want real hip hop back. You better show up for it. So I don't know. But I look at it like that's real power right there. If you can just drop somebody like that. You know what I'm saying?
Pusha says the endeavor was gratifying. It felt good to even see how other labels were buying for the project. Now, as they teased last week, with a picture in front of labels playing insignia, they've ended up at Jay-Z's Roc Nation, where they feel fully supported and energized. I think that's the synergy, just in a rap sense. It's going to speak volumes, Pusha says, of the partnership. So for the record, bait jobs like buying and wearing Neptune's pieces from the same era that Clipse thrived in aren't going to do the trick. He's always said he was a fan. So I feel like that was something a fan would do. It wasn't like P, which is for real, was hurting for money and sold his jewelry. Pusha laughs dismissively, referring to change Drake bought at an auction. If Drake's adamant to have a lawsuit, it's only because he knows all the things that they did to suppress everything that was happening around Adidon and the verses and the records and things that were happening back then. I don't rate him no more, Pusha says of Drake's off-wax antics. The suing thing is bigger than some rap-ish. I just don't rate you. Dang, it's like it's just kind of cheapens the art of it once we got to have real questions about suing and litigation. Like what? For this? Now, they did go more in depth in these conversations.
He absolutely right. This is, like, again, y'all, listen, man, y'all, and I gotta say y'all on this one. Y'all Drake fans gotta hold this L, man. Y'all gotta hold it, hug it, caress it, sleep with it, kiss it, make love to it. Y'all gotta hold that L, man. Y'all gotta hold that L like his grandma on her last trip. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hold that L, man. Y'all gotta hold this L, bro. Your boy put hip hop in jeopardy, bro. He got hip hop in jeopardy. No matter how y'all try to spin it, what y'all say, it doesn't matter. Your boy got hip hop in jeopardy, bro. So I don't want to hear none of this. I don't want to hear, oh, you got to understand, yo, he's fighting against the machine and all this stuff. Nah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't. Pusha's right.
But I didn't want to just sit here and read it word for word. I wanted to just get to the main points when it came to what was getting put all over the headlines today, all over the internet. Of course, Drake name come up. Pusha T with the battle they had a few years ago before the Drake and Kendrick went all the way up. This was what, 2017, 2018 when they was kicked off. So this right here most definitely was a part of this conversation. It's coming up because they got dropped from Def Jam. But if you read it, Pusha T explains more about how he felt like music was being suppressed and stopped at the label on behalf if it's true that they are suppressing Drake music or highlighting this music or not. He said, well, Drake would know that because he's done it before, in other words, and things like that. But he said, why we getting into litigations overall and all? He talked more in depth about the relationship with Kanye and what things went left for them at, and him making albums and music and not him getting back with Pharrell and stuff. So this right here is just one of them conversations, man, where you stand in the game. Me, at this point, I think that the lawsuit has to clear for it to even move on and not be a part of Drake's conversation no more. Yes, Drake still gonna drop music, produce numbers and things like that. But I don't really want to hear any dissing from him anymore. Just keeping it all the way 1,000, no matter how.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't care how you try to word it. I don't care. I don't. I'm going to start calling Drake Elsa from Frozen. Elsa, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, bro. Let it go. Let it go. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it. Because I'm telling you now, if you out here trying to sue people over, and then you go and try to flip it, and trust, yeah, I was the one that took on my whole record label because, you know, I think I felt like it was wrong for them to do what they did. Nah, bro. Nah. It's so crazy to me how people are cool with this when they know for a fact that this dude is doing it because he lost the battle. He can't. That's why you don't hear from him no more. He needed to take this break. And he better be going to do something. He better be. Because I'm telling you now, man, Kendrick ain't done. And when this clip verse come out, it's gonna be the talk of the town for a while. I'm telling you. I know it. I could feel it. This verse is gonna be talked about for a long time. That's probably why they wanted to get this verse out of here. That's probably why they wanted to censor it. But I'm telling you, this verse is gonna be talked about for a minute.
How anybody feel about it, no matter how you feel as a fan of Drake, anybody else, if you are the person that is going to get the legalities involved in diss records and things like that, no matter how it happened, why it happened, at the end of the day, bro, Kendrick Lamar music hit harder. He produced a hit record. The people gravitated to it instantly. Drake even said that it was a bop at that time. Like, hold on, that would go for sure. They just did the marketing of it. That's just how that's what the way this industry works. Kendrick Lamar is a top-tier artist. He's a top-tier lyricist. It went up. It was a hit. DJ Mustard gave a fire beat in the production. Everything was just on point for us. So it was destined to go up because the entire world was looking for the music at that time as well. Drake's just didn't hit as hard as Kendrick's did. It just is what it is. But people want to turn it into this and get into the technicalities and who used what for promo and everything like that. But with this going on, bro, I'm over it kind of now. But, you know, Pusha T was going to get asked about it because of their prior issues, and then it causing him to get dropped from Def Jam because they had to leave Def Jam because they're like, well, hold on, bro. Y'all try to control on what songs we going to drop now? We can't get a Kendrick Lamar verse because y'all feel it's too shaky? Well, we just going to go ahead and move around and go somewhere else. Let us go. Give us the release papers. We gonna go do our own thing now. And if you've seen the interviews throughout the years or just paid attention to the game on how releasing songs and music and projects work, I understand exactly what Pusha T is saying, where Drake and Kendrick is in the middle of this battle right now. We don't want him to release a verse that he dropped on your project because it's going to make it seem a way. Certain people may perceive it like that. We don't want to interfere with what Drake and Kendrick Lamar got going on. And then Pusha T probably trying to tell him.
And I understand where they're coming from. But I also understand where Pusha coming from. But I understand what the company is saying. Like, bro, this is gonna be perceived as a diss. Plus, it's coming from you and Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all both really smoked him. Now, do I think that UMG would care, or like I said on the last video, do I think he would care if there was never a battle? No, they wouldn't have cared. I don't think they would have cared. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they would have cared. But I think the only reason why they trying to stop this, is because of the litigation.
Well, bro, he's not on there dissing Drake, so it's not even going to look that way at all. But because Pusha T has already had a prior beef with Drake, the conversation is going to be, well, hold on, y'all choosing sides now and things like that. And then what do you know? A lawsuit end up coming from it regardless. Even though they didn't put that song out and stuff, this might would have made his way into that lawsuit as well eventually, because he could have been like, and his team, Drake and his team could have been like, well, hold on, they got two people I don't get along with on the same song. But the label wasn't concerned with that at the time. They looking at it like, we got two of the biggest guys in the game going at it right now. J. Cole was going to be involved in it at first. It would have been the top three, the big three at that point, what that conversation was going at it. They was going to sit back and let that play out. And they're like, well, hey, man, we ain't going to have Pusha T up in it, and we don't want that verse on that album until them adjust it. But really, at the end of the day, man, they was letting all this other music come out, and I don't know how everybody else, the other artists that was involved, just throwing little jabs, though. But, man, they be trying to control this thing as far as, like, the marketing and the conversation of it. But Pusha T say, man, I ain't with that, bro. I got to be able to put my music out how I want to put it out. I ain't telling nobody do no readjustments on no verses. I'm not playing the political game, man. He done gave us a flawless verse already. So this is a crazy thing. This is how the politics works behind the scenes, man. Tell me what y'all think. We got more coming, more videos, all that.
Yeah, he's absolutely right about that last part. Yeah, I get what he's saying. But like I said, if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, I can understand. You got one of the biggest artists got them in litigation, and they really don't have a case. But the reason why he has them in litigation is because he feels as though they're using one artist to take him down. Now his other op is basically coming out with the same guy that tried to take me down, and now they both try to take me down. So now if I now I can say, well, look, see, they're actively doing this to me. Look what they're doing. They're actively trying to take me out of here. They got both of these guys, and they could use that against him, and he could use that against them in court. Now, normally, like I said before, normally I wouldn't stand with the record label, but I stand with UMG on this one because I look at it like it's Drake's fault. This would have never happened if Drake wouldn't did this. And it's only going to benefit the record label. So if Drake wins this lawsuit, y'all can kiss real hip hop goodbye. Because now the label's going to be able to really dictate. See, the labels can't really dictate what you rap about. They can't really dictate that. They can, because you can hide. You can rap in codes. You can hide. But once it gets to a point where even if you're rapping in codes, if they don't like it, they can tell you, because they could kind of tell you that now, but you can kind of go against them, or you can kind of like say, well, I got my First Amendment right. You know what I'm saying? I got freedom of speech. You can get that off. But when they change it to the point where they use this as a case study, when they say Drake said this or Drake did this, and this is the reason why, and now you got all of these different artists saying, well, I felt as though that y'all let him demoralize me or made me feel some type of way. It's going to go off of people's feelings. And then they're going to say, well, so I'm suing. And now you got all these artists trying to sue the record labels because somebody might have said something that they feel like they're talking about them. And now the record labels is going to be like, well, all right. And they ain't going to want to keep getting sued. That's why I said him winning this is L for hip hop. Ain't going to be no more diss tracks. And I think right now, the way we moving down in hip hop, I think where Kendrick is at, I think it's a good thing. Because I think that he kind of took the crown from Drake. And I don't think Drake can actually get it back. He could still make hits. He gonna still produce that type of stuff. But as far as like the narrative, yeah, that's over with. He's not gonna be able to get that back. And I think that people just want to side with him right now because they don't either like Kendrick or they just want to side with him because they want to side with the guy who everybody's going against right now. But once people realize that he did something to destroy the music industry or even hip hop in general, they're going to wake up. So, but thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.